Welcome, one and all, to the Sports Couch. I'm your host, Craig Bergner. I appreciate you spending some time with us today. We are going to talk a little bit about some walleye fish. We're going to be previewing head-to-head walleye event number 1 taking place tomorrow on the Bay of Green Bay. Joining me in studio today, 2 very important guests here. We have Mr. Bass himself, Kyle Carpenter, and joining him is Tyler, the Hammer, Corey. Welcome in studio, gentlemen. What's happening?
What's up? Ready to get head-to-head back. It's been way too long.
It's been way too long.
Time to knock the dust off this
Feels
thing.
like it's been about 8 months or so.
No kidding.
Yeah, a little bit of time.
Yeah.
You know, like a winter season in there or something, gentlemen. I'm excited. We're going to be previewing head-to-head walleye style today. Talk about the duos, the partnerships in there, talk about the matchups, where they're fishing, any rule changes that took place this year, all that fun stuff. And I have the 2 experts with me in studio today. Guys, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a really fun and exciting season, and I can't wait to dive into this. And I'm looking forward to making picks this year.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Not me. Still not picking.
No?
No.
Tyler and myself will be making our picks
Yeah.
at the end of all the previews. Yeah, and then we have a fan poll going on, correct?
Yeah, if you want to make your picks live right now, head to head-to-head Facebook or Instagram, go to the Stories tab. You'll see all of our angler polls are up there right now. You guys can cast your votes. This is we use this during the broadcast to kind of see what the fans are thinking.
Heck yeah.
Who the pundit picks are for the week.
And we're going to be referencing those after we make our picks.
Yep.
See where we align, if we align with the fans or if we're out there on an island by ourselves. I'm looking forward to it. Guys, Tyler, I'm going to let you take the lead here.
Okay.
Let's preview a little bit walleye head-to-head. What do we have this year?
Well, if you headed over to the head-to-head website at all, you saw the Similar Places, New Faces article that was posted last week, and that's kind of the theme of the season. The schedule looks a lot like last year. We're staying on Green Bay and Winnebago, but I think we have 7 new teams joining us this year in the Walleye League. So it's going to look similar. Water conditions, that kind of stuff, the bites that transpired last year, a lot of that stuff still going to be similar information. It's the Bay of Green Bay and Winnebago. It don't change a whole bunch, but we have 7 wild cards for this first event. Guys that we know a little bit about. We've done some preseason stuff with them, but I'll be honest with you, I haven't seen hardly a one of them hold a rod live on head-to-head at all. So, true head-to-head rookies, plenty of them.
I love it.
Some have fished other head-to-head events, but not the league style.
And it's a whole different ball game when you put cameras in front of you, you're on a boat, and it is hammer time. You got to get in there. You got 4 hours to get things done. And it's all AM events this year, right?
Yep. Yeah, we got a big change. Action-packed show, 4-hour show. We got 10 cameras, 10 teams. Everybody's live. All matches are going on at the same time. In the bass side, we might see the size of the body of water and that amount of teams come into play. We're talking about giant places for the Walleye League. So I think it's just going to be more action for the viewers. And with it being that 1 pound minimum like last year on some pretty good places, we should have some action-packed shows.
And when head-to-head was created, obviously the head-to-head competition, but the action within that short amount of time, you wanted those fish. You want fish. That's viewing pleasure right there, my friends.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we want to see that. We want to see these anglers get out there. Big bags. We want to see a lot of fish get caught, and I think we have the crew to do this year, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Some of the new guys that are coming are absolute hammers, like Eric McCoy, great fisherman. Joe Okada, returning from the PWS days. We're excited to have him back on camera. The Mootzes, we don't really know. Their wild card, they fished a head-to-head a while back. Sean Grahams has traveled with a lot of the right guys. Haven't seen him pick up a rod yet, but he's been in the boat with some of the best dudes in the walleye fishing industry. So he's got to be a sponge, and he's going to be a problem throughout the entire season. And then obviously we got some of the returning faces.
Yes, sir.
The Katowskis, the returning champs, are back. We didn't figure that they would leave us, and of course they're back to defend their title. And championship is coming to their home body of water. So keep an eye on that throughout the season. Fan favorite MVA,
yes,
Ted
sir.
and Cody are back. So, and Mitch Don's back. He was a fan favorite as well. Unfortunate events at the end of the season for him. Didn't make the playoffs, but he's back with a new partner and a little bit of revised energy in the boat. So it should be good.
The roster there's no question, this is a loaded roster, and that's all we can ask for, guys. Now they just got to go out there and perform. I am very much looking forward to this. Any other changes that need to be expressed? Can we do a quick run through of any rules for those of people that are tuning in that don't know what head-to-head is? Just give them a brief overview of what we're looking at here.
Rules wise from last year, not a whole lot has changed. Some logistical stuff on the backside that the fans will never see or hear about. One thing some fans are going to like is there is a new penalty, and it is for swearing. That's probably the biggest change. Last year we had some adults that really couldn't be adults when it came to vulgar language, so we kind of forced, with us going to YouTube this year as well, we're held to a different set of standards over there than we are on our own platform. So we have to poke the line, as you say, with some words.
And again, 4-hour span, right? It's action-packed. It's high intensity. You're going to see some disagreements on the boat. And sometimes if a few swear words slip out,
Absolutely.
It's frustrating.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
There's going to be 5-minute penalties, and that penalty is 5 minutes for the team. For the whole boat
the whole boat sits.
The whole boat sits for 5 minutes.
Are they allowed to do anything like fix
no
lures, anything like that?
Safe.
It's like sitting in the penalty box in hockey.
Yep. Drink, eat something if you want. You can't do anything that could potentially help you, with fishing in mind. So you can't watch a graph, you can't side image, you can't.
So who enforces this? Is this something you guys hear during the broadcast and you talk to the cameraman, you say, hey?
So the swearing rule is going to be a mixture. It's going to be camera operators are going to have the ability to call that. The anglers are not going to be surprised when they get called. Plus, these guys will have the ability, Nick and Tyler will have the ability to call that as well. And that will all funnel through me. Hey, X, Y, or Z said whatever. Here's, you want to communicate that. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to happen. The first time somebody breaks off a fish or loses a good bite or something, one's going to slip. But
it does happen from time to time. Yes.
Yep. For the fans that have no idea what head-to-head is, head-to-head is, we say, more of a reality show than it is a fishing tournament. The characters are the fishing tournament, are the anglers in the tournament.
I would call it more of a league than a tournament, right?
Yeah.
It's more of a league.
Yeah, it's more of a league. That's a good way to put it. So we take all 10 teams, put them in a round-robin type tournament, like a wrestling bracket. Not everybody's going to face everyone this year because we have 10.
Okay.
We have 10 teams fighting for 7 spots for the playoffs. So not every team is going to face each other this year with a 7-week schedule rather than a 9-week schedule. We went down to a 7-week just because it got to be a little grueling over 9 weeks. Another change, last year we were AM and PM matches. This year it's all AM until we get to the playoffs. So the AM matches would be 7 to 11. That's it. There's no PM matches on Wednesdays anymore. There could be, weather-wise, it gives us some flexibility. Camera operator gets sick, angler gets something happens, flat tire, can't make it. We have the ability to run that match later in the afternoon if need be. If there's a small craft advisory somewhere on the bay or on Bago, we need to adjust. We could go fish the afternoon rather than the morning if that is the case. The goal is to not have to do that, but you never know.
So for our friends on YouTube, maybe this is the first time you're even hearing about head-to-head. Head-to-head is a 4-hour sprint. You're facing off against another duo, right?
Yep.
2 teams facing off, 4 hours. And is there they're only fishing for walleye?
Yep.
And is there a weight limit or anything?
They have a 1 pound minimum, so every walleye minimum over 1 pound will count on their total.
Okay.
Non-weighables or non-scorables, we call them dinks. Anything under 1 pound is called a dink. The dinks matter for tiebreakers. Every match is going to have a winner and a loser. The only way there won't be a winner is if it goes 0-0, nobody catches a walleye, period. That's the only way a match will probably get reran then. We're not going to leave it tied. The playoffs, the anglers fish a 7-week round robin. The playoffs are set by win-loss record, and the rankings will be, or the seedings for the playoffs will be set by win-loss, and then the tiebreakers to determine any ties to get into the playoffs.
Yeah. And while on the boat in this 4-hour span, every fish, they can catch 1 million fish in 4 hours.
As many as they can hook.
And that weight just accumulates, right?
Yep.
They're looking for more weight than they're only facing one opponent. So that's where the head-to-head comes in. It's a really fun structure, really fun setup, and it brings a lot of the sports aspect into this league, which is really awesome to see. So that's kind of the brief overview of what head-to-head is. I'm sure there's a lot more detail, a lot more depth that I have no clue about. That's where the experts come in. Yeah, and it's quite the production. Tyler's on the mic, and it's... What time does this get going tomorrow?
It will kick off at 6:45, and lines will go in at 7 a.m. So going to do a little pre-show kind of prediction similar to this show before we go, talk about conditions, and then we're going to dive straight into lines in.
Yeah.
And then it's 4 hours, rally style, catch as many as you can. And this season, with only 7 weeks, every loss hurts even more. There will be teams that start out with 2 or 3 losses, and their playoff chances are in the tank unless they can really turn their season around and get something going. With the 9 weeks last year, we've seen some flexibility where guys were like, this match doesn't really matter, but
not this week.
7 weeks, every single match is going to matter. Every loss is going to hurt.
And the overwhelming, you want to be the 1 seed this year.
Absolutely.
You want to be that top seed. You get the bye in round 1, and you get that paycheck in round 1. So, yeah, I think it's going to be cutthroat till the end. Every week is going to matter. You're going to have to beat your opponent, and yeah, man, it's going to be a really, really fun walleye season. Anything else that we missed that the fans need to know about?
I don't think so. You hit on something good there with the first round bye. That's a change from last year. The other change with that first round bye, we're only taking 7, like Kyle said, the playoffs. Last year we took 8, only dropped 2. This year we're dropping 3. And that line last year got super gray because there was a lot of ties in there. Tiebreakers really mattered. And now it's an even more shrunk down season where all of those tiebreakers are going to matter. Like, this first event is set up to be kind of a slugfest. Guys are talking about possibly breaking records. You could do yourself a ton of favors in this one if you can put up 100 pounds, because that season total weight becomes a critical tiebreaker once playoff time comes around.
And going back to that 1 seed, hugely important, because once you get to playoff time, it's a March Madness bracket. You lose, you're done.
Yep.
Your season is over. And we saw high seeds get knocked off early last year, so nobody is safe come playoff time. 1 seed, hugely important. What do you guys think? Should we hop into previewing?
Yeah, we can talk about Event 1, which I think it's important to mention that we are a little delayed on Event 1, and we have rescheduled that event for a midsummer type event.
Yep.
July 9th. July 9th.
Nice.
So that midsummer bite on Green Bay, the closer you get to August, is pretty incredible. And that's kind of where we're wanting to hit more Green Bay before the playoffs, guys putting up big weights and guys under a lot of stress to try and get wins towards the tail end of that season.
Yeah, on our side of things, we want to see a lot of fish getting caught. So
absolutely.
That's fantastic.
Compared to last year, we're 3 weeks, a month behind our first event. We were in March last year with our first event, so weather-wise, we wouldn't have been able to fish that this year anyway. So, and we wanted to kind of stay away from the hustle and bustle of what the Fox River is. So the Fox is in bounds for this event, but it won't be the primary area.
I'm ready for it. And let's hope Mother Nature cooperates a little bit this season.
Yeah, it actually, knock on wood,
looks really good for tomorrow.
Really nice for tomorrow. We got calm winds. I think it looked like we had 5 or 9 miles an hour out of the northwest, making a 180-degree switch out of the south by the end of the match. Starting kind of cold, 31 degrees, warming up to 41 by the end of the match. So cooler temperatures, but wind, calm, high suns should be good fishing conditions for this transition, pre-spawn, spawn, post-spawn type bite that we should be hitting.
Yeah, nice. Before we jump into the previews, I wanted to just tell everyone, if you haven't heard, check out the Basterminds podcast. Tyler does a fantastic job. You get to interview a bunch of cool anglers, learn a lot of really in-depth fishing stuff, tactics, spots, all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
So you do a great job. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. Basterminds podcast. Also, keep on the lookout. We're doing a bunch of angler interviews here on the Sports Coach, kind of get to know the head-to-head guys a little bit further, knowing them a little bit outside the fishing world. I've been having a good time getting to know these guys, so it's kind of brings like the sporty side into this. So just be on the lookout. A lot of fun stuff here on Fix. Fishing world, baby.
Heck yeah.
All right, let's head to the previews here. I'm going to do my very best not to butcher these names, and when I do, you guys just correct me, and we'll do our best with these. We're starting off with match number 1, Brody Barry Ochoa and John Derline taking on the brothers Katowski, defending champs, back in the saddle again. We got Nick and Andrew Katowski wearing the crown, got the target on their back. Gentlemen.
It's only fitting that Brody and the Katowskis meet in round 1, because Brody is the angler that gave up the spot during the championship to the Katowskis on the bay. So
that's right.
That was not by design. This was supposed to be week 2. But
that was the hottest spot.
Yeah.
Dude, money.
Yeah, on all of Green Bay.
Yeah, exactly. All
the best one.
All the fish congregated right there and said, Katowski's, catch me. Let's go.
Right.
And they hammered.
Yep. Some people might be wondering why the partner changed, because Brody was originally fishing with Mike. Not real sure what happened there. I got a phone call saying I need to switch partners, so Derline is in. So that's what it is going forward. That is the primary partner, so that's what we're going with.
Yeah. Does it add any pressure on the Katowskis? Have you had conversations with the Katowskis? They're rolling in here, a well-known commodity right now. They, like any other sport, you're the champion until you're not the champion anymore. They got to have a bullseye on their back. People know who they're going up against now. So do the Katowskis feel any added pressure coming into this season as the champs?
I've heard a lot of the trash talk getting thrown at them. So,
love it. Yeah.
I think they're doing a good job handling it. I spoke with both of them last week, and I don't know, they're going fishing. They got the right mindset. They're excited to get the year going. They're both working a lot, so they haven't been on the water a whole bunch, but time. I mean, it's here. So I don't think they're walking around feeling like they have a target on their back.
Okay.
So
it's definitely a mindset.
I know there's some guys trying to make sure that target's there.
Yeah.
And
letting them know.
Talking enough trash for 10 guys, but that's all good fun, you know.
Do they have an advantage in this matchup? I love the brother dynamic. Been together for their life. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, you're on the boat, gets hectic, crunch time. You kind of have to know what each other can and cannot do, play to your strengths. Do they have an advantage here with that brother bond? They've done the whole head-to-head for a season. Were very successful with it. Do they have the advantage here?
I think they do, just because they're returning. They've been through a season. The other team has not. They have not been fished head-to-head at all. Tomorrow is all new and shiny for them.
Yep.
There's going to be some learning involved as far as process of who does what, when. And, you know, we've seen the Katowskis work together very, very well and very efficiently in the boat, and they set their boat up for that, to be efficient no matter where they're at. So I would have to say yes, with full due respect to the other team of they're very good anglers as well. So, you know, matchup wise, it's a great matchup because they both know the bay really well. Advantage Katowskis, just for the fact that they have the experience of head to head.
I have a feeling with a lot of these matchups, we're going to say, with all due respect, because we have great anglers this year.
There's going to be 5 losses tomorrow that are going to hurt.
Yes,
for sure.
Yeah. And I love that that's how it's set up. Like, there are no buys. There's no off weeks in this season. So very much looking forward to it. And any insight on the duo of Derline and Barry Ochoa as far as anglers go? I don't know much about them.
Brody's been on the water a ton.
Okay.
He's been on Lake Erie the last week and a half for the MWC.
Brody's just a fishy dude, man. When we met him at the Meet the Anglers Deal Media Day, he struck me as a very knowledgeable angler. Definitely put his time in on the Bay of Green Bay and Winnebago. I think that team just wrote about it today. It's kind of an interesting dynamic because I don't believe that John has a ton of tournament experience. So Brody's going to carry a lot of that tournament experience weight on his shoulders. But a lot of these guys, both teams or both teammates, have a lot of tournament experience. So Brody might be at an advantage where when it comes the heat of the moment type situation, John's not nearly feeling the pressure that Brody is, and John can keep a level head and kind of keep Brody on the track.
See, I think some of that is there with them. Met John last week and seems like a great guy, hilarious.
Yeah.
Seems like them two are going to blend really well together. They've known each other for a long time, it seemed. Buddies, have fished together, fished some tournaments together. John said right out, I'm going to be the funny guy. I'm going to be the color guy in this group, and
Nice.
they're going to have fun with it. So he's known for sleeping in the back of the boat, being a little too hungover at times. So I think the pair together is going to be great. It's going to bring, fishing aside, it's going to bring some pizzazz that we want, right?
Yeah.
Like we need, right? We want it to be entertaining. Win or loss, we want guys to be entertaining, right? That's what the fans want. I can see this team being a fan favorite by the end of the year.
Absolutely. 100%. And I guess going back to the whole Katowski's advantage deal, it's going to be one of those events where numbers certainly play. It certainly sounds like this is going to be a big fish, lot of fish tournament. So if Barry Ochoa and Darlene can get in the groove early, figure out the app, figure out who's weighing the fish, figure out how the flow of the boat goes, I think that they can absolutely keep pace with the Katowskis. But last year we started with kind of a slower event, slower techniques, cold, fish weren't really biting, so you got some time to kind of figure out what your flow was. It didn't matter if it took you like 3 or 4 minutes to process the fish. And this one, that 3 or 4 minutes is going to cost a lot if you cannot get your system down in the first few fish.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. Also, if they haven't fished on a boat with a camera in their face, that's something to get used to.
Absolutely.
It's definitely different.
Yeah. So a lot of moving pieces in that, and unfortunately, they're going up against the champs right away. It's just a tough draw right from the jump.
Put them to the test right away.
Yeah, that's right.
See what they're made of.
That's right. We'll find out really, really fast. And I'm all about a funny guy on the boat. That'll be a lot of fun.
Definitely.
So, yeah, it's better than freezing up in front of the camera.
Absolutely.
So,
And heavy breathing.
Yeah.
you can never get enough of that. Anything more with this matchup?
I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to be seeing this one firsthand. I'm going to be in the back of the Katowski's boat with a camera, so I will be watching this one firsthand.
Mr. Bass does it all, folks.
Right. I enjoy running a camera.
Yeah.
I'd rather run a camera than sit and wait for somebody to call and complain.
You just picked the Katowskis because of the beanbag.
No,
You
they
said-
didn't
you said,
even
"I
have
want
it
that
last
one."
year. I think Dover broke it last year. So
They had a beanbag on their boat?
Jeez.
Yeah. Which is, if you've never done that, walleye boat, you definitely have to. It's the most comfortable spot in the boat to ride in.
All right. Very nice.
They might have to pick me out of it, but
That's right.
I'll get in it.
You roll yourself out.
Yeah.
I just want to know if the cookies are going to be there. That's all I care
right.
about.
Yeah,
Mama
from what I
Katowski's
hear, the
cookies.
Katowskis, is their mom?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
dude, there's something about
Nothing
mom-made cookies. You know what I
Nothing
mean?
better.
Blue ribbon cookies.
Jeez. Katowskis, you know where we are. You know where the studio is.
Yeah.
Bring those cookies
You got to
on
drive
down.
by here on the
I
way.
was going to say,
Yeah,
I think to get to Green Bay, you got to drive past here. So
We are open for bribes right here, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so, all right, the next matchup, we got Alec Nickel and Damon Golke taking on Ted Miller, Cody Solberg. Cody Solberg rolling in, MVA himself.
This is one of the matches of the day right here.
Absolutely.
To me, there's two of them, like real highlight matches. This is one of them.
I would be shocked if we didn't see this matchup again at some point in the playoffs.
Yeah, Nickel Golke are on the water a lot. Guides, fish, like you take some of your words, fishy people.
Yeah.
They're always fishing, chasing walleye somewhere. So Ted and Cody don't need a whole lot of introduction from what they did last year.
Yep.
Kind of in their wheelhouse right here on where they put up the 104 pounds or something last year.
Yeah, 100 pounds, 9 ounces. The league, the Walleye League record as it stands right now, the biggest day ever in this Walleye League format was Ted and Cody in Event 2 last year. 100 pounds, 9 out.
And you think that's going to get beat?
There's
this
a
event?
lot of talk that there might be multiple people that surpass that record.
Wow.
Man, I hope so.
And
Yeah,
there's
me too. Me too.
There is a chance that someone surpasses that record and loses. Those are the kind of matchups that we have this
Talk
week.
about a bad beat.
That would be rough. But again, even if you do and you lose that matchup, that weight is going to help
matters.
you in the future,
Absolutely.
right? Along the way, that's going to help a
You
lot.
put up 100. You put up a century in this one. You're gonna feel that all the way through the year.
Yep.
As far as momentum.
And if you lay an egg in this one and put up
Yeah.
15 pounds,
Woof.
you are in a
Yeah.
tough spot with the tiebreaker.
You better hope you win that matchup
Yeah.
with that low
Right.
weight for sure.
Yeah, this match to me is going to be a slugfest. This, on paper, this is going to be, Tyson Holyfield just blow to blow to blow, and the person bite the ear off at the end is going to be the one to win.
I like that.
It's just
100%.
back and forth.
And I honestly think I give a slight edge to Ted and Cody only because they've gone through it before. Like we
Same.
talked about with the Katowskis, they felt the process. They were one of the best teams, if not the best team, at processing fish, working together as a team, getting the system down. But at the same time, we've never seen Nickel and Golke in the boat. Who knows? Maybe they've been
Yeah.
practicing this deal
Yes.
literally since they signed up. So it's going to come down to, in my opinion, who can get the jump right off the bat and put the pressure on the other team. And then are they able to handle that pressure?
You two are, from what I hear, very excellent fishermen. Not to be questioned.
Me.
Yeah, I mean, okay.
Mediocre most days.
Okay. We'll lowball it and say you guys are okay. Is this something you can practice for? Can you go on your boat and practice for a head-to-head format style?
You can, as far as your process in the boat. All the teams have had access to the Way Live since yesterday, so they had yesterday evening, all day today to mess with it, to get used to it. So if they're in the water, out on the water today, I would sure hope they're weighing fish,
Yeah.
going through that process. And I mean, I can look at their backside of their app right now and tell you if they're doing it or not, but they should be. If they're not, they need to.
Yeah.
Get familiar with it. Figure out where you're going to save it on your phone. You saw last year there's some teams that got frustrated with, this thing won't load and I can't do it because their hands are wet, so it doesn't work on your phone. You're cold, whatever the reason is. Phone overheat, just all the little things you got to think about.
Working out the kinks prior to the event, probably a good
Great
move.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Might be helpful in the long run. You made a great point with Cody and Ted last year, how they worked together on the boat. I think it kind of surprised a lot of people, but man, were they were just in sync the entire
Literally
season.
calling each other
Yes.
shots.
They knew
Yeah.
their jobs. They both know their jobs.
Yeah.
It's
And they do it well.
a ton of fun to watch. I don't remember who we were talking to last week, and you told them, go watch this event this day and just watch the process.
Yeah.
Well, it was Don.
Yep.
Go watch the process back on Fixed TV of head-to-head last year and watch how they did it, how they processed everything, how one guy just continually stayed fishing and, use it to your advantage and keep a line wet all the time.
Yeah, they were new partners and they
Yeah.
just very in sync from the get-go. It was fun to watch, and one would just assume it's going to continue that way. And Cody got the shine, right? He
Yep.
got the MVA, he did all that. But Ted was no slouch on the boat. He helped the process along an
Absolutely.
awful lot. So yeah, well-oiled machine. They're a tough duo to beat, and coming into this season have to be one of the favorites.
I would-
I'm gonna whisper that. Ted's listening.
Right.
He's probably trying to figure out how to talk down the chat.
Right.
And they're going to be one of the favorite teams heading into
Absolutely.
this. So, yeah, a heavy hitter should be a fantastic matchup, and I'm really excited to see what Nickel and Golke bring to the table. From what I hear,
too.
it's going to be a really fun matchup.
Also, a couple of young guns, both very confident in their abilities. So it's going to be Clash of the Titans. Like Kyle said, it's going to be a playoff type matchup in Event 1 immediately.
Yeah, if these two teams don't see each other somewhere in the playoff bracket, I'd be surprised.
Yeah. We got a loaded roster, gentlemen. All right, next matchup. Another big one. We got Eric McCoy and Steve Lobbs taking on the man himself, the singular man, Joe Okada.
Great.
It's a bold move, guys.
This is the other match to
Yeah.
Yeah.
highlight.
Without a doubt.
If you had to pick two that stand out to watch, these are the two.
Rumor has it Okada's just a hammer out there. He's the man. He's a very good fisherman. But in the head-to-head format, not having a partner is almost detrimental to your success. It's very difficult. And I'm really excited. I have an interview with Joe coming up. I'm really excited to hear why he's riding solo.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be really interesting to hear his perspective from it. But what do you think, guys?
Joe Okada is Joe Okada. Anybody that knows him knows the way he is. He doesn't want a partner because he makes decisions. He wants to not second guess. He wants to make the decisions on his own, ride or die on his own. He's either gonna
It's understandable.
hero or zero. He's gonna.
Yeah.
And Joe is a competitor. He wants to fish single type events, so he's all about it. Tried to get him to designate a partner, before tomorrow. Joe, designate a partner before tomorrow, just in case, right?
Yeah.
Something happens, Joe gets sick, you can't make it. That's the tough part. He's gonna have to forfeit. But anyway, that match is gonna be great to watch. McCoy and Lobbs, both hammers. McCoy just won the AIM event on the Bay of Green Bay last week with his girlfriend.
On this water?
Same body of water within the boundaries.
Okay.
Smashed him. Too.
Lobbs
Yeah,
is no slouch
okay.
himself. He's a guide. He's out there. He's got they both got great networks of people around them and people they trust, and it's going to be a slugfest. This is going to be another back and forth type match. And man, I find it very hard to bet against Joe Okada, honestly. And Joe knows how I feel about him. He's a phenomenal dude. Hard to bet against. Man, Joe, you're going against.
But this is a tough one.
This is a tough one when the whole season he's going to be up against it, And Joe Okada is not going to fail it. So I can guarantee you that. He's going to put up some weight. He's going to make the effort and impress some people. I would not be shocked if he won tomorrow. But he's making it hard for himself.
It's a time thing, right?
No matter who he's going against. Really.
Because he has to do what two people are doing. He has to do it by himself. He has to catch the fish, reel it in, weigh it, enter it, and that all takes time. While in the other boat, someone could be doing that while the other person's fishing, right?
Yeah.
Still pulling up another fish.
Nick Schertz likes to talk about pace, right? If you're on 3 fish an hour, 4 fish an hour, call it 4 fish an hour. Well, the disadvantage to getting to that 4 fish an hour is massive with only one person.
Yeah.
Because there's another person continuing to target that second, third, or fourth fish in that hour while the other one is. The process doesn't take that long, but every second literally counts. So I'm excited to see what Joe does. I'm crazy excited, happy to have him back, happy to have McCoy, happy to have Lobbs, happy to have them all. There are some big names in the field this year, and we are very, very excited to have them.
Yeah.
Highly competitive this year.
Yeah.
There's going to be matches like this every single week all the way through the
Yes.
playoffs.
Yep.
And
Definitely.
I cannot wait for that last match of the season because it's going to be the two best in head-to-head duking it out. And it certainly has the potential to be the two best in walleye fishing, period, duking it out at the end of the season.
The best part about Joe is he's not going to feel any of that pressure.
No.
He's so good at just letting it be. Just going and doing his thing, doing what he does. He's the best at just pushing that pressure off. We saw it. He's had some heartbreaking losses over the years. He finished second in some heartbreaking events. Mille Lacs PWS event Joe was in the driver's seat of that tournament the whole way. And the last day, one of his best friends ripped it out from underneath him, and true fashion, right? Joe just happy-go-lucky, happy for his buddy. You saw some disappointment, but you never heard it.
Yeah.
You never heard him complain anything. He wants that feeling back, and he wants to come win this by himself to prove to everybody and himself that he can do it by himself.
We focus a lot on the disadvantage of being by yourself. There's advantages to this as well.
Absolutely.
You don't have to rely on someone else.
You're
someone
both
else
faster.
Yeah.
It is faster. 100%.
Yeah, that's a good point, Craig. There are some advantages. If you're a scoper, and you only have one live scope, there are some advantages. I'll leave it there.
Yeah. It's not suggested to be by yourself, but yeah, we'll see how he does. Good television, guys. You know,
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
It'll be a lot of fun to see him flying solo. And then we can't say enough about his opponents, right? Lobbs, McCoy. They're a great duo.
Mm-hmm.
Is it their first go round at head to head?
It is for
Okay.
both of them. For both of them.
This will be interesting. But like you said, he just got done crushing it on Green Bay, and
I would venture to say McCoy and Lobbs is the team to beat this season.
okay.
Just looking, if you looked purely at a stat sheet on a piece of paper, looking
No
at their
names
track
included,
record,
yep.
it's tough to argue with the guy's accomplishments, and he's young. Like, he's just getting started in this deal. So,
Love it.
and Lobbs is the same way. Lobbs, similar to that Ted and Cody type dynamic. Lobbs is the older, more experienced Green Bay grizzled veteran. McCoy is kind of the younger. I don't want to say getting his feet wet because his feet are plenty wet. The guy's proven himself plenty by now, but still has that young fire in him, and it's going to be an interesting yin and yang dynamic between the two. But the knowledge of Green Bay in that boat is going to rival anyone else in this field, period, end of story.
Can't wait, gentlemen. That is going to be a fun one. Let's head on to the next one. Father-son combo. I'm a fan of this. Joel Moots and Nathan Moots, they're taking on father-daughter combo. Sean Grams and daughter Riley Grams. Let's go. It's a family affair here, gentlemen.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is going to be two exciting teams. I love, like you said, Craig, the father-daughter, the father-son side of this. And, you know, it's a cool opportunity for the kids to get that already like fishing. Obviously, I don't think they would have wanted to be a part of it with a camera on them if they weren't already head first into it. So I'm excited for this. It's going to be a cool dynamic to watch the interactions between them, too. How much teaching moments there are. Is the kid going to bring different techniques to the old man?
Right.
You know, it's
How old is Nathan? Do we know?
12,
Looking
Yeah,
at his
young.
picture, he looks young.
Young.
Looks like
11,
a young
12-ish.
kid.
Yep. I want to say Riley was 10.
13 or 14.
Yeah, she's older.
I
So-
thought she was already out of like 18 plus, but we'll find out.
Yeah.
We'll find out. She's been the mystery the entire time. Like,
Absolutely.
every picture,
And,
you know.
and originally, Sean had signed up by himself.
Okay.
And his daughter was kind of a later on ad, and I think it's great. He basically said straight up, I want to have fun, and I want to make memories with my kid this season.
That's awesome. Yep.
So,
I remember old family videos.
Reality.
Parents had to walk around with that big camera.
Right.
Like, you are getting hours upon hours of footage with
Right.
your son or daughter here. This is fantastic.
and like Kyle said, a lot of these teams are going through those teaching moments, but they're doing it silently. They're both adults. They kind of can communicate without
Not here.
communicating.
Yeah.
These father, sibling, son, daughter situations are going to be talking out loud, thinking out loud, talking through these processes literally to their kid, but also to the audience. So exactly what they are trying to portray that is working is what's going to come through the mics and onto the camera.
One of the coolest things about head to head is just that.
Mm-hmm.
If you are an aspiring fisherman, you're just thinking about getting in the sport, or you just want to learn stuff.
Yeah.
Like you want to learn, you want to become a better fisherman. Just watch.
Yeah.
All I gotta do is watch.
You
You're
get to
gonna-
see the techniques, and then you
gonna
get to
learn.
hear them talk about. Like this would be like me being able to be like, oh, Michael Jordan, dude, let's go. You know, just watch him and hear his thought process.
Right.
This is fantastic. I love that aspect of head to head. Yeah, and anything more? These are two kind of unknown teams.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to learn a lot about them throughout the season. Anything more with these two pairs here?
Joel Moots fished an event with his dad on Winnebago.
Okay.
Joel helped us and was part of the PWS as a marshal with us. So he's head to head seasoned, I could say,
Sure.
but not.
He
totally.
knows what's going
He knows
on.
what's going on.
Yeah.
There's not going to be any surprises with him. So
And I think that's big.
yeah.
Again, everything's on camera. It could be a lot. And guys, how is an 11-year-old going to react when a camera's shoved in his face?
Right.
You know what I mean? It could go many different ways.
Absolutely.
It could be highly entertaining, or it could be really scary for the kid. And like, we'll see. Again, going to be a lot of fun to see, and we're going to learn a lot.
He's going to be the coolest kid at school for a couple weeks.
You got that right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Chicks dig bass. I mean, walleye fishermen.
That's right.
Bass fisherman.
That's right.
Yeah. All good. All right. And the last matchup, guys, we have Robert Claus, and Nick Ackley. They're taking on Mitch Dawn and Kurt Yoder.
Yoder.
You
were close.
I was close, man. I tried my very best. All right. What do you know about these two duos?
Mitch obviously fished last year.
Yep.
Kurt was a sub with him last year, so he's got a taste of it. Bob has been in other head-to-head events. He's been a huge fan of head-to-head. I think he's probably watched every second of it.
Love that.
Nick is a walleye fisherman. Like he's a custom painter, and he's in the industry. He knows what's going on. It's two great teams going at each other. And Bob, when we were talking about the new teams coming in, this is probably the team I'm the most excited about, because Bob and Nick both have done a lot in the industry. They're very well known on the Bay of Green Bay. They're very well known on Bago. It's going to be very exciting to see these two together.
So they're pretty seasoned on Green Bay.
Yes.
This body of water that
Absolutely.
we're heading
I
into.
think it's fair to say that those two have forgot more about Green Bay than most of us know. So
Me for sure.
yeah,
And knowledge is power in fishing. For
absolutely.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
And he's on the water a lot.
Yeah.
You know, he's guiding full time. I believe I think he's full time now. I don't think he's working anymore. So I could be wrong.
Also means he's going to be a great teacher. These two, they said during the Meet the Anglers Media Day live that they want to teach. That's what they want to bring the educational aspect to the show and break down exactly what they are doing on every given match, every given day. So these two are going to be a fun one to watch simply because, like we said, they are very knowledgeable anglers and they're willing to share everything with the audience. So that's going to be a really fun deal to kind of watch throughout the season.
If you're a guide and you're looking to purchase guide services, seeing them in action would be the best sell ever.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
This guy knows what he's talking about. I like how he explains things.
Yeah.
This would be like, kudos, man. I hope your business booms because of this. It's great.
I'm not sure if it's going to happen, but they do have Bob's wife down as a sub,
Okay.
Leanne. So
Yeah.
that'd be cool to see Leanne and Bob fish an event together. I know they fished some Green Bay events together too. So Alex King from last year is actually one of their subs as well. So maybe we'll get to see them both.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what do you know about their opponents? Dawn and Yoder.
Mitch
he got a raw deal last year.
Yeah.
Tough deal. I shouldn't say raw, just tough deal. He made kind of got him last year, but kept him out of the playoffs. But he is determined. He wants to come back and prove that he belonged in them playoffs, and he would have been a factor.
Yeah.
Self-admittedly, during the roundtable at the end of last season, he was like, yeah, we made some mistakes last year. We weren't super confident in ourselves, and we're ready to make those adjustments. And just like we saw with Malika and Gagnow on the bass side last year, these two got the best of every single team they faced, no matter what. They'd put up a solid day
Yes,
and
they
then
did.
end up 2 pounds behind whoever they were fishing again. And they had some really strong matches. They had some glimmers of hope, and then to be put out the way that they were before the playoffs, I really think that Mitch felt like he kind of got shorted on the whole deal, and he's back for redemption this season.
Yeah.
I appreciate the fire there.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that.
And you're not going to meet a nicer guy than Mitch either.
No.
Him mad at you is still shaking your hand, smiling, and asking how your mom them is. You know, he's just a good dude.
Yeah.
And Kurt as well. Kurt brings another side that I'm not really sure that Mitch had last year, was some more knowledge on Bago. I know Brandon had a lot of knowledge on Green Bay. Bago side, I think they're kind of leaning on Mitch a little bit heavily. That should be different this year with Kurt. So
Nice.
Should be exciting. It should be a fun team to watch the whole year.
Yeah.
I know I'm rooting for them just because of what happened last year.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've never been a big fan of teams in fishing. I think it's stupid. I don't think it works. I think it causes more risks than positives, but hey, it's part of the walleye fishing industry and it always probably will be. But
Now, when you say teams, you're talking about not these two on the boat. You're talking about an additional boat.
yeah, they work together.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
X team and X team share all information. Some share money. Some, I mean, they go as far as
Yep.
1099 in each other at the end of the year. It's craziness to me, but been around forever. It's part of the culture and
Not
walleye
going
fishing.
anywhere. Yep.
I don't really know if we have any like for sure teams in the works already this season.
I know
do we?
last year there was
There was a bunch last year.
There was a bunch last year, and I know one team got. I'm not going to mention because I'm not going to cause any drama, but one team felt they got the raw end of the stick a bunch of times, and they're 100% not working with anybody this year.
Good.
Just done with that. Going to ride or die on their own. You know.
I'm all for that. All right.
That's how we like to see it. It's a small group of guys, anyways. So just fish your fish and do your deal.
Heck yes.
Yeah.
All right. The moment everyone's been waiting for. Tyler, we're going to roll out our picks
Okay.
and we're going to pull up the fan votes here.
Okay.
All right. So, matchup number 1, Barry Ochoa, Durline taking on Brothers Katowski.
Great.
I'm going Katowskis.
I am as well.
What's
and the fans are too. 79% of them say
I did vote on the fan vote, so nobody will ever know who I voted for, but I did vote.
Once again, nothing against Durline and Barry Ochoa. I think it's going to be purely a pace thing, and that's it.
Yeah, there's in all our picks, there's never anything against a team.
Right.
It's just, yeah,
Yeah.
just who we think.
We're picking. This is sports.
And guess what? I'm always right.
Yeah.
So,
Just ask
you
my
know.
wife.
Right.
Yeah. Don't ask her. All right, second matchup. Alec Nickel, Damon Golke taking on Solberg and Miller. I'm sticking with Ted and Cody. I'm going Ted and Cody here for the dub.
As am I.
Okay.
So are the fans.
All
Really?
right.
71% towards Ted and Cody.
Wow. Hey,
So-
fan favorites
Really?
last year. People,
Absolutely.
Yeah, they love them.
I'll tell you why I'm surprised by that. Alec Nickel and Damon Golke have a massive following
They
on
do.
social media, like millions. They have viral videos consistently. So,
And
not that Cody and Ted don't, but
As that fan base trickles over and
Yeah.
realizes what head-to-head is, dude.
yeah, yeah.
I
Let-
think it's
let the
important to
explosion
note
happen.
that exactly that. These polls are about 2 hours old.
Yep.
They got 24 hours to see, and we'll review the final numbers before we go live tomorrow. That preliminary stuff, and obviously the diehard head-to-head followers from last year know exactly who Ted and Cody are, and they
Yes,
also know
sir.
exactly what they did in the second event last year.
All right, we're going for matchup number 3. It's the Lone Ranger himself, Joe Okada. Jeez.
Not Odaka.
No, I know. Hada bada.
Doug Sass, not
Jeez.
Odaka.
Joe Okada taking on McQuaid and Lobs.
That's right.
The matchup of the century, it sounds like here. I'm going to stick with Okada here. I'm going to go. It's after hearing what you all said about his opponents. I don't know if I'm that set on it, but I'm going with it. There we go. That's my pick. Who are you going with?
Okay. I'm going with McCoy and Lobs,
Okay.
without a doubt.
Where are the fans leaning?
That's right. McCoy and Lobs as well, 72%.
Very nice.
McCoy and Lobs. And
72%?
yeah. I think that's also entirely a pace.
It's a
thing.
runaway.
I just don't know if Okada is going to be able to keep pace with only one rod in the water.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a disadvantage.
You look back at what Ted and Cody did last year when they put up 100 pounds. If they only counted Ted's fish, it would have been 50 pounds. And if they only counted
Yep.
Cody's fish, it
Yep.
was going to be 50 pounds. So cut that weight in half.
Wasn't it
without
like 85-15?
it was. Yeah.
Cody had about 99 pounds
That
of that.
wasn't a burn, Ted. Yes, it was. No, it wasn't. Yes, it was.
All right, and we got the family affair here. We got Joel and Nathan Moots taking on Sean and Riley Grahams.
Great.
I am going with the Moots family here.
Okay. I'm going to go the other way, and I'm going to go with the Graham.
Okay.
And the fans are literally split 50-50. Dead tie.
Dead heat.
Dead tie.
Love it. The fans right in the middle.
Right in the middle. And that was a pretty good number of votes on that deal, too. And they are still total 2-horse race, side by side, 50-50.
Well, as you can tell, we're split.
Yeah.
Fans are split. This is going to be what should be on paper a very close matchup.
Absolutely.
And then the final matchup, Dawn and Yoder. God blessed. Taking on
like
Klaus
Amish.
and Ackley.
Just thank the Amish.
Just by the end of the season, I'll get it. You know? I'm going, I can't pronounce his name at all, but I'm going with him. Dawn and Yoder. Bam.
Okay. I'm going to go the opposite way again. Klaus and Ackley, and this is the only one I haven't agreed with the fans on. Dawn and Yoder are at 64%
Okay.
on the fan poll. So that one's another tighter split, but I just, with the experience Ackley and Klaus got, I think that it's going to be tough to beat, but at the same time, Mitch has got that head-to-head experience. So
I think we got to get the CEO's picks in this year.
yeah.
We can. Yeah.
Yeah, we should definitely get Brian involved in the pick.
Also, we'll make,
Brian, if you're watching, walk in here.
we got to
Yeah.
make a tally. Oh, you're going to have him come in now?
Sure.
All right.
Might as well.
Andy's going to come here with a steel chair. He's
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
yeah,
he-
you're
he can
time
t-
crunch.
Yeah.
Boom. WrestleMania style.
You can sit right down
right.
right here, good old buddy.
You think
Right.
CEO's on the horn here? He might be on a call.
He might be on a call. Who knows?
Sleeping under his desk.
Doing
something.
CEO stuff.
Yeah, see, important people things. Yeah, moving forward, we can definitely get
Yeah.
some, and we'll let everyone know our picks weekly.
Yeah.
I love this. So, gentlemen, been a pleasure. Kyle, Tyler, I'm looking forward to event number 1. Event number 1 kicks off tomorrow morning, 6:45 a.m. Lines in at 7. We'll see you all there right here on Fix. Till we see you then, be great.